Hello everyone! As iPadOS will be released today, I'm going to introduce all the new functions added in today's video. We can finally use iPadOS. Regarding iPadOS, it's the OS exclusive to the iPad. We used to have this thing called iOS, which is the same as iPhones up until now, but it's been a bit complicated to use it, and that's how the OS exclusive to iPad was developed. So even for those who found the use of iPad kind of complicated, with this iPad OS, I believe you can use it a lot easier, so that's something I want to talk about today. When you want to update to iPad OS from the settings, you can go to where it says Software Update to do that, or you could connect to your laptop and update on iTunes as well. So please update after 25th of September. I have 14 functions that I'm going to explain in today's video. It's kinda a lot, but things have changed a lot with this iPad OS and there are many changes. There are actually more than 14 functions, but today I'm going to focus on the ones I find the most important. Also, feel free to take a screenshot of this and use it for review later. Alright, let's get started. Okay, when you update to iPadOS, you'll notice that the home screen is different like this. There are more icons displayed than before. When you swipe from left to right, this thing called widgets show up. About widgets, it's where you can keep functions or apps you often use here. So you can quickly access your calendar, mail, etc. At the bottom of widgets, you should see Edit tab, so tap it to customize your widgets. Click on the plus button at the bottom here for any apps you want to add to be included in your widgets. There's a button that says Keep on Home Screen at the top, so turn it on to display widgets on your home screen all the time. So even when you swipe, it goes to the next page. I personally think it's better to always keep your widgets on your home screen as it comes in handy. Next, about dark mode. To set a dark mode, swipe from the top on the right and long tap the panel for adjusting brightness here. This will then show you an option where you can turn the dark mode on and off, so turn it on. This lets the interface have a darker mode and the home screen switches to black in color. All the widgets are black and even menu bars you see when you open Safari are now black. This is perfect for those who want to have a stylish, cool looking mode. What's great about setting a dark mode is that when you open your camera roll, photos can be displayed beautifully with a black background. They look very different from when you have a white background, and I think it's better to set a dark mode for those who use Camera Raw often. I personally like to have a light mode, and it looks better to have black letters on a white background when explaining stuff to others on my iPad, but be flexible with the use of these according to your style. Third is about gestures. It allows you to copy and paste very easily. Long tap and slide the part you want to copy like this. Select and while keeping it on the side, use 3 fingers and touch the screen as if you were to pinch it inward like this, and this will be a gesture to copy. Move your cursor to the position you want to paste, and now you want to do the opposite, so pinch it outward like this to paste. This function is really useful. And if you want to delete the one you just pasted, swipe from right to left with 3 fingers. It undoes as you can see. If you swipe in the opposite direction, it redoes. We had to shake our iPads when we wanted to delete something, but it can now be done with fingers, so I think it's a big change. The point here is that you can do all of these just with your fingers. You just have to either use 3 fingers or slide horizontally to decide your gestures, which allow you to use different functions. So make sure to always use your 3 fingers to operate. Next is keyboard. For a keyboard, we have this function called floating, where you can pinch the screen with 2 fingers like this to make the keyboard smaller and move it around to your preferred position. With this feature, we can have a bigger screen and it's now easier to type in with one hand. If you want to go back and have the original size of keyboard, you can pinch outwards with 2 fingers to do that. There's also this thing called Quick Path as a new function to keyboard. You'd have to type word by word, but you can just let your fingers stay attached to the screen and slide the alphabets to type. This is a bit difficult to explain. Hold on the alphabet you want to type in, slide as you move on to the next alphabet, and repeat this process. It takes some time to get used to this, and you might get some random words as it autocorrects sometimes. But if you can use this, you could type in text easily on the iPad, so give it a try and master it. Next, I'll talk about split view. Split view is a function that splits the screen like this. You can have 2 of the same app displaying on your screen like this. We used to only be able to display different apps, but with iPadOS, we can have 2 of the same app display. I have a memo app on the left right now, but I can now have it display on the right side as well using split view. So this will be useful when you want to take notes on different subjects at the same time during your meetings, as well as when you want to copy and paste. When you want to copy a part of a memo on the left and paste it on the right, select and pinch them inwards to copy and pinch outwards on the right to paste. You can use this way, but there is a much easier way to do the same thing. Select a part of the memo on the left first, long tap and bring it over here on the right to copy and paste easily. I suggest to fully make use of copy and paste features on split view function, especially for those who use text for work very often. You could do this on Mail app as well. Setting the keyboard on floating mode and placing it on the left enables you to type in text easily too. Next, split over. It's similar to split view, but this lets you open different apps over Safari here. We used to only be able to open a single app, but with iPadOS, you can now have multiple apps at a time on top of the other like this. For all the apps piled up, here's a black bar at the bottom as you can see, so pull it over to see them at a glance. And you can just touch the memo if you want to swipe to a different app. For the apps you don't need any longer, you can just swipe up and they will be gone. I want to show you a great way to use split over. I assume many people do shopping on websites like Amazon, and when doing so, you could have it display page by page using split over. Right now, I pull up this page of a sofa and put it at the upper right corner to set split over. While keeping this page, you could go to a different page of sofas like this white sofa here. And just like you did before, put it at the upper right corner to be displayed like this and let your hand go off the screen. And now the page is placed on top of the previous page. Just like this, you can place as many pages as you want using split over to leave them as history. You can add a page for green sofa, a page for gray sofa for instance, and any pages for sofas you want to compare with. Once you've done that, pull up this black bar here at the bottom right to see all the pages for sofa you've added at a glance. So like this, you can compare the color, size, and price. Isn't this amazing? I think it's pretty useful. Right now, I'm on the IKEA website comparing sofas, But you can do the same with Amazon, as I think that's more popular for you guys. But yeah, you can have as many pages as you want on Amazon, and it makes shopping a lot easier, I think. Even if you go back to the home screen, when you long tap the Safari icon, it should show you an option the second from top where it says Display All Windows. So tap it to display all the pages you had as it keeps them as history. Next, the 7th one is about Safari desktop displays. When launching a website on Safari, we used to have a mobile version, but from now on, desktop version will be displayed. What's good about it is that when you open a YouTube page, for instance, it used to automatically open the YouTube app, but now we can open it on Safari. Since I'm a YouTuber, I want to tell you what I find good about this as a YouTuber. There's a management page on YouTube where you can only access on the desktop version, meaning it was impossible to manage with the iPad. But we can now go from iPad and see you guys' comments like I do all the time and view analytics here too, and I find it really cool. Also, I assume many of you download images, fonts, and videos on Safari, which has been kind of hard to do on the iPad, but now it can be done easily. What you're seeing right now is a website called Unsplash, which is my favorite website, but here you can find images that are stylish and high in resolution. These are also for commercial use, and believe it or not, you can download them for free. If you want to download an image, for instance, click on the button at the upper right where it says Free Download. Once you do that, there should be a download icon newly added on the menu bar here, so tap it to see all the stuff downloaded in your history below. Those who use Mac are probably familiar with this, but you can do the same on your iPad as well. When we download something on the iPad, we were kind of lost to see where the downloaded files got saved. But now it's easier to do that. The data you downloaded will be saved in a download box that can be found in the File app, so check them there. Next, I want to talk about Markup and screenshot functions. You can swipe the screen with your Apple Pencil from the left corner to right to take a screenshot. At the same time, you have a markup function here. What's great about this screenshot function is that we used to only be able to take a screenshot of a single page at a time, but now we have this tab called Full Page at the top here. It takes a screenshot of an entire website from top to bottom. This is pretty nice, right? So when you want to have an entire website screenshotted, save while keeping the full page tab selected. This is really useful. With this, we are going to insert this thing called Markup, which is for annotation or for giving comments on something, but this logo, for instance, since it's a bit too big, I can comment here saying make it smaller in red and keep scrolling down. But if you find this toolbar for markup options annoying at the bottom, you can now move it freely to the left or to the right side. So like this, you can just keep writing comments here and there, and from the export tab here at the top, you can send the page to someone by email or share it by airdrop or simply save it as a photo. To be honest with you, I used to use other apps such as GoodNote and Notability since Markup was hard to use, but it's one of my favorite new features of iPadOS is you can do annotation just with the app by default, which saves a lot of time. So I suggest everyone, especially designers and directors, to check it out. Next, the 9th one is a File app. This has evolved a lot. Files used to be displayed in a box like this, but now we have a column display. For instance, select iCloud Drive on the left, choose Desktop. When you select a folder within Desktop, it shows you some photos in JPEG. But when I click here where it says information, it shows your date of record, size, the capacity of the JPEG. This is something we've never had on our iPads, so it's pretty cool, and I feel that it's becoming more like a desktop PC. And we can now compress and unzip a zip file from this file app. I have 5 JPEG images selected right now. When you tap the tab at the bottom right, it will then show you a list of buttons including Create PDF and Compress. And this Compress option organizes all the images as a compressed file. I compressed this file just now, so it comes in as an archived zip data. And this is the file which includes those 5 images. Long tap where it will show you an option to rename, so you can change the file name to whatever you like. And long tap again if you want to attach to your email or share with other apps. This is super handy, and I can't thank enough. I guess many people haven't used a file app before, but I feel like how well you can make use of your iPad will be really up to how well you can make use of this file app from now on. So please check it out. As another new update to this file app, you can now share a folder. Just like with Google Docs or Google Drive, you can share your data with others. When you want to do it, long tap the data while it will show you a button that says Save in Shared Albums. So you can tap it to share from there. I haven't used this one yet, so I'm actually not 100% sure, but I'm hoping to let you guys know once I start using it. But all in all, remember that you can now share a folder, which is excellent, primarily when you work on a project with many people, for instance. Alright, next, moving on to the 10th one. You can now work with external files on your iPad. I find this the best feature out of all the other updates made, and it really makes me happy to have it. There are times you want to connect USB, SSD, camera, or SD card to your iPad, right? And it used to be possible to connect the SD card to the iPad and import, but it wasn't possible to work on the content of the SD card itself or to import and export. But with this iPadOS, you can do all of these. You need a Type-C port or connector to your iPad, so when you want to connect to USB flash drive, you need an adapter. So I'm going to use this here to connect it to my iPad this time. Once you insert your USB like this, it shows you a folder on the left that says Pictures. But this is the name for your USB flash drive. Select here to see all the folders and images at a glance. For instance, this is a file of the video, but even the video file found in the USB flash drive can be played on the app. The ones in folders are raw data. When you choose one, you should see the option that says Save Photos on the right. You can save your photo in the camera roll on the iPad. Open your camera roll on the right using split view. You can see the data collected like this. You can also move your photo saved in your camera roll to a USB flash drive. I reversed the position of a camera roll so that it's easier to understand. So here I have my camera roll on the left and a file app on the right, which is connected to the USB flash drive. And when you want to put your photos into USB flash drive, select multiple images here like this. And while doing so, long tap and move them to the file app on the right side. And now they're all in your USB flash drive. This is really useful, don't you think? It's so much easier to deal with the data. The photo data is pretty heavy right now, and my USB flash drive isn't that great, so it's taking some time. But you can deal with the data quickly by using a USB flash drive. Next, I want to briefly tell you about mouse, as we can now use the one on the iPad apparently. The one I always use is called Magic Mouse, which is also what I use on my Mac. I tried to connect it, but it didn't work for some reason, so I'm just going to show you how. When using a mouse, you should see this small black circle on the screen, which we call it a mouse pointer. So you basically use that to use a mouse on the iPad. To do so, go to Settings. There is a tab that says Accessibility on the left. So tap it and choose Touch in the middle of the right side. And then click on the Assistive Touch option at the very top. Open it and turn it on. There are many things you have to do here. Once you turn it on, the mouse pointer should pop up, so connect your USB mouse and then you can use it. I'm afraid to tell you I didn't have one at home, so I couldn't show it to you right now, but please try using your USB mouse. Next is a function called Sidecar. About Sidecar, it's a function that enables you to use the iPad as a second display like this. Connect it to your Mac by a cable or Bluetooth and turn the Sidecar function on. Right now, what you see on the screen is an illustration data. But yeah, you could send your illustration data to the iPad, for instance, and draw here as well. You used to have to use an app to do something like this, but it can now be done using Sidecar function implemented on your iPad. This Sidecar function will be available with Mac OS Katerina, which will be released next month in October. So for Sidecar only, you'd have to wait for a bit, but I look forward to using this function next month. Next, the 13th one, and I want to talk about fonts. It used to be difficult to design or customize your fonts on the iPad, but with the new fonts function added, you can download or install fonts from App Store. I haven't done this yet, but when you install fonts on App Store, you can use your preferred fonts on compatible apps such as Keynote. This update is really great, especially for designers like me, as I've struggled with fonts a lot, but now I'm really excited to work on my design. Alright, next is the 14th one. I want to talk about video edit function before we end. This function is equipped with iPadOS and iOS. We used to be able to edit photos using a feature by default, but we couldn't edit videos. But now we can edit videos. For instance, from the Edit tab, there are many filters options here. And when you go to the light icon, you can adjust exposure, highlight, shadows, white level, size, etc. What's more surprising is that there's a trimming function added. Even when the center line gets out of alignment, for instance, you could just turn it around. There's also an angle view at the top on the menu bar. Right now we have a 16:9 ratio. We can change it to 4:3 ratio. Or if you ever want to post on Instagram, you can trim and edit here and post it. We had to import a photo to a different app to edit and adjust it to the right size when we wanted to post on Instagram before, but now it can be done quickly. This is what I have after I trim it to square. If you want to revert, you could do so by clicking the Revert to Original button from the Edit. So tap it to return to the original photo, which is this picture I took with 16:9 ratio. So don't worry about it. Alright, so I briefly talked about 14 functions that are newly added. How did you guys like them? I bet you guys are all excited to try them out. Regarding which iPads are compatible with iPadOS, check out the website for iPadOS and you can see a list at a glance. Everything works on iPad Pro, but for regular iPads and iPad mini, there are some versions that aren't compatible, so make sure to check the website before you download. I showed you 14 functions in total today, but there are other updates such as map and reminders, along with a faster response of your Apple Pencil. And if I missed something, please let me know. With this iPadOS, I feel that iPads have been computerizing even more. And I really want everyone to be able to get everything done just on their iPads one day. So yeah, I'm going to continue studying iPadOS while dreaming of everyone using iPads working from anywhere. Alright, that's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And for those who haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.